Hey everyone, welcome back to Chesapeake Chats on the Hallmarkies podcast. I'm so excited to be with you today. I'm Kari, your host, and my co-host Kaycee is here with me.
Hello, Chessies.
Hi, Chessies. Hey, we have not talked about Chesapeake Shores for a long time, and I think our listeners are going to forgive us once they find out our special guest that we have on this bonus episode. We are so excited to welcome Andrew Francis.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming on. Of course, you play Connor O'Brien, this wonderful character on Chesapeake Shores. We're thrilled. We are thrilled to talk to you. Thank you for being on our show.
I'm more excited than you are. It's great. I watch your analysis of the show, and we all do, the cast. We all catch bits and pieces of it, and we love your work. So it's an honor to be here.
Oh, that is so awesome. Okay, so you commented on under one of our podcast recaps one time, and I think Kaycee and I kind of had a little heart attack. Like we were like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, he wants a t-shirt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Which we owe you. We definitely owe you. So how have you been? How have you been since season 5 wrapped up? What have you been up to?
I've been good. In this time, actually, I was building an app. I have a meditation studio here in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it's been closed down, obviously, because of everything that's been going on. So we decided to sort of pivot and like, what could we do while there's nobody coming in here and no contact with other human beings? And we thought an app. So we jumped onto TikTok. We got the name Everything Spiritual. I think we're at 950,000 followers now. So we're coming up to 1 million. And then we created the Everything Spiritual app, and we just got that into the App Store and Google Play. So that's kind of what I've been spending all my days doing. I've been recording through the day and then editing at night, and also doing a little bit of producing now, which has been fun as well.
Projects
yes.
coming down the chute.
And can I just say that I'm very, excited that you have figured out TikTok, because I can't figure out TikTok. I can like scroll through TikTok, but my niece is like showing me all these things, and I'm like, this is complicated.
You know what? I actually share that with you. It's more so my girl has figured out TikTok.
Okay.
I was the person just scrolling randomly, and then she's like, "How can we actually use this platform to our benefit?" Right. And she was able to through our live sessions. That's what we mostly do. She makes the content for the videos, and then we go live and do sound baths, and that's how we sort of get out there to the world. Yeah,
that's awesome. So far, how is it working together?
Myself and my girlfriend?
Yes.
Well, actually, we've been working together. It's been great. We've been working together for like 4 or 5 years now. We opened the studio November 17th. So we did 4 years of 4 classes a day, in-person classes. Yeah. And we kind of moved in together like right off the bat. So things have been going good. There's been ups, there's been bumps and downs and all that kind of stuff, as there is. Yeah. But no, she is a visionary. She is always 2 steps ahead of what's happening. And I really admire her work ethic. So she's taught me a lot.
That's awesome. Good. That's good to hear. I love that. It's probably a strong relationship that you have if you can like see that those ups and downs and just kind of weather them,
100%. Yeah.
Okay. We have got to get into Chesapeake Shores season 5. I mean, we can talk about all of Chesapeake Shores, but season 5 was so amazing. And it captured so many new watchers, I think, and new fans.
It did.
Yeah, it was so great. So congratulations on a fantastic season, by the way. I know. Yeah. So good.
And then thanks to Fief and Mark, our new showrunners who came in, and with all the last minute changes that went down, with losing the character Trace and having Robert Buckley come in and stuff, they kind of had to figure things out super quickly. But they were able to do that, and I think that they changed the tone of the show just enough that it is still Chesapeake Shores, but it was just so much more in season 5. And us as actors absolutely loved it because we had some real meat to play with, So I love the direction that the show's gone.
Well, that's what we were so thankful for when we actually got a chance to talk to Fief and Mark, Jordan Legan, and they kind of gave us a little insight onto that. Just kind of show business is kind of crazy that way, but really did throw a wrench in the plans.
They had all 10 episodes ready to go, and then there's an unexpected fork in the road, and Yeah, they managed quite well. I mean, Fief, I don't know if he mentioned it in his interview, but when he was on Cheers, he was instrumental in a big character change on that show as well. So I think that we got the sort of stars aligned having Fief and Mark there, and especially Fief, who's dealt with that before, to sort of be able to pivot very quickly. And what he did, I think he just did incredible work.
Yeah. And I feel like they really highlighted Connor and his potential this season. That was one thing I really appreciated. I mean, we went deep. We went deep into Connor.
I'd like to say that it was an arc for Connor, but it was like a roller coaster. Like he was up at the start, then he was down, then he was back up, then he was literally down.
He was down. No, that's something that we totally noticed. We were like, why does it feel like more things happened to Connor in season 5 than like all 4 other seasons put together?
And Kari even said, like, I think things are looking too good for Connor right now. Like, he just needs some drama.
I remember that commentary. I remember seeing that going, oh, they're on this. They don't know what's coming.
Sorry. Yeah, he did not know.
I would always sort of allude to it, like, just get ready for these last few episodes where things really shone, or shined. And it was pretty wild there by the end.
So funny. So let's talk about new showrunners coming in, new writers coming in. How do you, as an actor, do you have any, say in, they need to get to know your story. They need to get to know you so that they can keep putting you out there. Do you interact with them at all as they're writing?
Yeah, as the writing, not necessarily. They come up with sort of the overarching premise of the episodes. And of course, Fief and Mark did a lot of research, of course, watching the show and just really getting a sense of the characters. And then, as we start going through the episodes, they start to see how things are unraveling in a good way, and they can sort of build upon that. But for last season, it was all just Fief and Mark coming up with an extremely amazing 10-episode arc for all the characters. And then, I really thought that season 5 was like the season that they wrote Connor the best, or that Connor was written the best for, out of anybody. And some of it are the same writers as other seasons, even with there being a different showrunner and executive producers. But I felt so at home in Connor's body this season, because I knew how to deal with the different things that he was dealing with. And they came to me and they said, we're going to be leaning on you, especially after the changes, there was a lot of screen time available. Right. And so they said, we're going to be leaning on you and we hope that you're up for it. And so I was like, yeah, I'm up for it. I've been waiting for this. Are you kidding me? And so every time that I got the scripts, I was like ripping through them. I literally had, because we block shoot, we do 2 episodes at once. I would have the 2 episodes memorized before we even started on the first scene. So I was just so thankful that they gave me such amazing content to work with. And I was really happy at the audience's response to Connor this season, or last season.
Connor so loved. Really rose to the top of my favorite character. So let's talk about Connor a little bit. Like, how are you guys similar, your character and you personally? Like you said, you kind of, you experienced maybe some of the, I don't know, maybe not the same things, but the life circumstances or feelings. Like, are you similar?
Yeah, it's funny. When I all throughout the seasons, I would always, when we were doing the show, I'd be like, are they spying on me when I'm off camera? Like, how do they know this kind of stuff? It's on a more of a metaphorical sense, the growth of Connor and the evolution of him as, turning from sort of a jaded kind of somewhat introvert. He was mad at his family. He was yelling at his mom in his apartment in season 1, didn't have a good relationship with his dad, with anybody really. Right. And then slowly started to grow up and kind of find his legs and, find out what made him happy and all that stuff. And that's what I was doing in my life, So every season that came up, even though the events may not have been the same, I felt like the energy of Connor in every season, and especially in season 5, really mirrored the energy that was going on in my life. So, as much as different as the circumstances are, the energy being the same really lent itself to me being able to really fill up that role and do the best that I could.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. That says a lot about you, I think, because you communicated so well each stage of life that Connor was going through, each emotional stage, I guess, the anger in certain seasons and the reconciliation or the playfulness that he even brings to his family. It's so genuine.
Yeah. And that's a credit to the casting too. I mean, like all of us in a lot of ways are our characters. Like where it's so hilarious because when we're off camera, if you had a camera watching us in the green room, it would be like Abby and Bree and, like we're all talking to each other in character.
Right.
We like they're poking fun at the girls are poking fun at me. Brendan's playing pranks on me. I'm like, like whatever, but then it's all good in the end. Treat's cooking things up, he's always always the host, Diane's always dropping words of advice and stuff. So it's been a blast that way, that's for sure.
Well, you've really gelled as a family then. I mean, like on screen and off, it sounds like.
100%. Yeah. We are like a big family. We have our group texts, you know what I mean? So we're always talking back and forth. It's a lot of fun. It's a great group and a talented group. I'm so like honored to be surrounded by such talent because I get to learn from them on a daily basis.
Yeah, that definitely showed, especially in this last season. It really felt like a real like fresh breath of air. And I know like the past couple of years have been a really hard time for a lot of people, and just so seeing the O'Briens come back and just seeing you actors interacting together, it did really feel very fresh. That's awesome that you guys are like a family off screen too. So
we really are. Yeah. Everyone is, we all like each other, which is a great start.
That's what Pete said too.
That's a good thing, and no, it was easy to bring, I can speak for myself. It was easy to bring myself to the character, especially this last season with such amazing writing, amazing storylines, and with all these amazing actors that I get to play with.
Well, speaking of that amazing writing, when you are introduced as like a law student and you want to get in and you want that perfect job, that lawyer job, and it's taken seasons for Connor to get into the courtroom, we were ready. We were so ready. We were so waiting for you to get in the courtroom. Those scenes were fantastic.
Thank you. Yes. I was so happy to get them. When I was reading through the script, I called I called Mark first. I was like, Mark, yes, I'm in a courtroom. I'm getting to do it. It kind of resembles my journey to maybe becoming a leading man in a Hallmark film one of these days.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he got it. Yeah, I got a girl. That helps.
You do. You got a girl. Yeah, no, those were whip smart. Those scenes, they were what we want, like we love our Hallmark movies and mysteries, murder mystery movies, we love those. And this brought us some elements of that, some drama without it being relational between the family,
Right.
It was so good.
It was like outside storylines, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like the first 4 seasons were very formulaic in the sense that every episode, had a breakfast scene where all the families and that type of stuff. And there was a lot more liberties that were granted this last season. And and we really appreciated that as actors. And I think the audience did as well.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the chemistry between you and Raylene, who played Margaret? I mean, hello. I was like, yes, I am here. for the Connor and Margaret relationship
From
and now,
day one.
like day one. Yes.
Like,
We're like,
yeah.
bless.
Yeah. No, that was the character. Margaret is a great character, and she works well with Connor. They literally, worked well together, and then worked well in a few other different ways by the end of the season. But that was a great addition, was having the character Margaret come into the show for sure.
Yeah.
So great. And she has like this great Irish name still. I mean, she really fits into this whole thing. But
Totally.
So my question was, were you prepared to have a new like a love interest this season? Were you wanting that? Were you ready? Or, I mean, we were for you. We wanted that for you.
I didn't know that it was coming necessarily. I mean, after it didn't work out with Danielle and Britt Irvin, I actually spoke to Britt today. So we're friends, Vancouverites. But when it didn't work with Connor and Danielle, I had a feeling that another relationship would be, coming down the pipes per se. And I thought that they sort of nailed it. I think that the energy between the characters, Connor and Margaret, we're all spot on. And I hopefully, if we get to do a season 6, we'll get to see how that relationship fosters and grows and nurtures. Yeah.
Totally. Well, that's a good point. A little side note here for our listeners too. As of today, which is Friday, March 11th, we do not have official word from Hallmark if they are renewing Chesapeake Shores for season 6. It's not canceled, of course, but we don't know if it's being renewed. We're hopeful, we're wishful, we're optimistic, but we don't have official word. So depending on when you listen to this episode, it may be different, hopefully, but yeah.
Tweet it Hallmark, tweet it everybody. Hallmark. Watch season 5, get up to date just in case there's a season 6.
Just in case.
But let's all put it out there, collective energy.
Absolutely. Let's do that. So going back to you and Margaret, I was thinking about this. I was thinking like, they have such great romantic relationships on the show. We have Jess and David who are married. I love seeing that marriage play out on screen. We have Mick and Megan who are rekindling possibly a second chance here together. Of course, we have Abby's triangles that we love to dive into. But it's so rare that we get something so spicy and so kind of fresh and new and hot. I mean, it was kind of hot stuff with you and Margaret. Yeah. And super, super fun to watch.
I know, it was nice. It was nice to be able to because there's so many couples on the show that I get to watch these couples come together and they have this energy. And I'm like, no, I kind of missed that. That would have been kind of nice to be able to play that as Connor, So for that to come up, I was very, very excited for that to happen. Yeah.
That was so great. So great.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more scene I want to talk about too, that mention of when Gran is the receptionist before Margaret comes and saves you and quits the job and saves you. She was hilarious.
I mean, it's Diane Ladd. How could she not just be perfect at whatever she's doing? I love Diane. But yes, no, she was a great receptionist and really great at keeping me from getting new clients.
Yeah. That's just like a very protective grandmother.
And Diane is such an incredible actress, is that, of course there's the edit, what you see in the final product, but, Diane loves to sort of throw in different things. And so if you could see all the different takes that we did leading up to that, some of the conversations that she was having on the phone that she would do ad libs for were just brilliantly hilarious. I think they stayed to script, but not only did Gran do a great job at being the receptionist, but it was just so fun to see Diane in that position. It was super awesome. And we rehearsed the night before, which was even more fun. I have to remember. Yeah.
Well, you specifically, as your character, Connor, have a really precious relationship with Gran, and you really take care of her. And so that was sweet to see her trying to come and help you and take care of you in her own way.
In her own way, yeah.
Which we love.
Yeah, totally. I love scenes with Gran. They're some of my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, she was fantastic. That was so great. Okay, so we have your business is taking off. You've quit your job, here at the end of season 5, and you've opened up your own practice on Chesapeake Shores, which good job. We have a romance budding in the works here. We have a really good family relationship. You're in a good place with your family.
Yeah.
So why the cliffhanger? What in the world?
Well, I mean, hey, we gotta make motivation to make more of these. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't bow it up, shall we? Let's keep this thing afloat.
We can't kill Connor off. That would be depressing.
That would be a little depressing. I mean, I hope that if we do come back for season 6, that Connor is there and they're not just like calling me up saying, "Hey, we have you for a fitting." Yeah, it's for a casket. I hope it's not that. That's actually a Mark Legion joke.
That would be horrible.
Give him credit for that one. But yeah, it was quite the cliffhanger, I mean, well, there was a few, right? Like, who did Abby call? What's going to happen with Connor? And of course, we saw Mick, reach back into the medicine cabinet and take a second pill when he's only supposed to take one. So there are a lot of different ways that the story can continue after those cliffhangers, if there is season 6, and a lot of very powerful, grounded ways. So that's why all of us, we really hope that the show comes back, because we absolutely love the direction that it is going and that it's taken.
There's so many places it can go still, and we really care about these characters, and we do want to see how things play out. When we talked with Mark Jordan Legan, he was cracking up because he said that there was a moment, I don't know if you remember this or if this kind of just, if this happened or whatever, but he said there was a moment you're reading the script and you kind of look up and you're like, are you going to kill Connor off?
I actually called him. Yeah. I called him. I was like, am I done? Am I off the show? What did I do? What did I do, man? I thought I did good in the courtroom, didn't I? So he assured me that not quite yet.
Right. Well, we had a lot of fun kind of discussing that and your leading up to these health problem stuff and what could it be and everything. And he gave good insights to that. If you listeners want to go listen back to the Mark Jordan Legan interview, he gives a lot of good behind the scenes on his writing there. But so creative, so good.
Yeah, they brought this new spark to the show that I think the show I wouldn't say desperately needed, but I'll say desperately needed. It needed this new sort of life, this new invigoration, and they brought it. Yeah.
Well, I think the difference is that there are fans, there are Chessies, people who stuck with seasons 1 through 4. We love the O'Briens, all that, but season 5 comes on the scene and it is so dynamic with all the stories, for all the characters, and you do realize, oh, this was kind of a desperate thing. Like, they did need to
up the
bump
game,
it up a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's, because we're also dealing with a modern family, it's not like When Calls the Heart, where it was like back in the 1910s, or Good Witch, which is more of like that, mystical kind of fictional fun kind of show. This is a family show, like Seventh Heaven or something you'd find like watch back in the day. And so like they definitely needed to figure out a way to tackle those more like the issues, like the miscarriage with Kevin and Sarah, and like the courtroom scenes where we're talking about wage discrimination and things. And they just did a really beautiful job honing in on those without losing the spirit of each of the characters. Like, Connor was still Connor. I mean, he was still kind of, fiery, and he still had kind of like a little bit of an edge to him, but he was refined, and I think we definitely appreciated the direction that it was going, because, there was a lot of questions, especially after season 4. We're like, wait, what's happening here? We still have the same questions that we did in season 1. And, that's like really awesome. And I know a lot of us are just dying for season 6.
Us cast too. And I think that to speak to what you just said, I think that's definitely a credit to, to Hallmark and all the new and awesome people that are part of the brand, and our showrunner as well, them working in tandem, and Hallmark really allowing Fief and Mark to explore things and to expand and allow the show to be more grounded. I think that's what brought the audience who had stuck with the show for all those seasons, and maybe we're like, where are things at, and then have this pay off in season 5 and go, okay, we're in this new place. So a lot of things came together, and speaking for myself, and I know the other actors as well, we had the most fun this season because it was just the most dynamic and layered season that there's been. I mean, we loved, I think season 1 and season 5 are my 2 favorites, and 2, 3, and 4 were good, but I think they they sort of missed the mark on how great they could be, right? And I think that season 5 surpassed that mark.
Yeah. I think that's a fair analysis, because what 2, 3, and 4 gave, it was just a foundation. It just gave a solid foundation. Just here's the family, here's who you, and then you guys jumping off of that with season 5 and giving more depth and more just story complexity, as life is. Life is.
Yes.
It's 100%. Yeah, I did, and you're right. I totally concur. It laid the foundation of knowing who these characters are really, really well, almost too well. But it gave us that place that we could then rise and take it in different directions and stuff. I finally found the show that it's supposed to be last season. That is the show.
Yes.
Season 5.
Yes. Well, we celebrate that. Okay, so looking forward, as Connor's biggest fan, what do you want from him? What do you want for him in season 6?
Yeah. So, I mean, if we have the pleasure of doing a season 6, I want him to live.
Yeah, that's very important.
So that would be a plus if he stays on the planet. And then I loved working with like Amelia and being able to help the family, So if there's, other things that come up, since Connor has this practice of his own, as problems arise in the family, I love how Connor has become somewhat of a person to lean on, whether it be for advice. I think Jess, Lacey's character, asked Connor for some advice. That might have been in season 4, but that's when it sort of started, and then in season 5, legally he was able to help Bree and Luke, obviously. But I love how Connor has gone from being this disgruntled, chip on his shoulder, kind of just meanish kind of guy, to being somebody that the family actually looks to and uses as a foundation and a rock. So I hope that they continue in that sort of way, that if there's any sort of problems in the family, they can come to Connor and vice versa. Although Connor likes to keep his problems to himself, maybe a little bit too much. So maybe he'll open up a little bit as well. That'd be nice to see.
That's so interesting that you say that his problems to himself a little too much, because I think all of us were a little shocked, even not that Margaret's a problem, but that she came on her own volition to the house. And we're all like, we're mixing work and home life here. Like, this is something Connor does not do very often.
Right.
Totally. I even sort of, it's funny you say that, like the line where I get up and actually go and see Margaret at the car. I try to keep it as businessy as possible. Like, I didn't mention, it's it's Margaret. I'm just like, sorry, I had to take this. I kind of try to keep the business, because Connor doesn't mix those two things. And then apparently it didn't work out that well for him, because he nearly dropped dead as a result. So maybe Margaret should stay at the office.
So funny.
Yeah.
That relationship fostered, if there is a season 6 between Connor and Margaret, that would be great.
It'd be so great.
Yeah.
So great. I want more courtroom scenes would be fantastic. Like you said, that would be so fun.
Totally.
More Margaret and Connor, definitely. And just kind of figure out what's going on medically and just move on.
Get them
Move on from that.
Start taking care of yourself, Connor. Stop taking all the Advil, for goodness sakes. I like that line.
Care of yourself. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. I think Margaret comes in and she says, I'm like, I need an Advil. And she says, how many have you taken? I say, how many's in a bottle? You know what I mean? Like, he was not taking care of himself. That's not the question or statement you want to say.
Too much coffee, all of that. No. He is.
That too. Yeah.
Stress. But we knew it was more. We knew it was more than just stress, actually. Or that's what we assume.
It was a lot of things. Yeah.
For sure. Now, I have a question about season 5. Did you have a particular favorite scene that you did with Anne O'Brien's sibling?
Let's see.
Or just one that stands out.
Yeah, because I mean that's one scene that we really just enjoy, is like when the siblings are together. Like, I don't have a whole lot of siblings. I only have a brother. So big families, which like 5 kids, that's always really fascinating to me. So it's always fun to see, the siblings all together. They're piling up in the bed, eating ice cream or grousing about.
Those are my favorites. I mean, I love it when we're all together, but I never really get to, for the first essentially 4 seasons, a lot of Megan Ori or Abby's scenes have been just with Trace, you know what I mean? And so to have a little bit of time when we're doing the sleuthing and we're figuring out that Dilfer's a snake in the grass, and I got to work with Megan just one-on-one, that was a lot of fun because we never really got to do that. So I think that was something that I enjoyed a lot, was getting to work with Megan, just the 2 of us, and have a couple days that was just us in the studio, or in Dad's office. Yeah.
Dad's office. Well, that's fun that you say that, because whether it's a different character that you don't really get one-on-one, or if it's like a set. I remember I think Fief Seton or Mark Jordan Legan said, they had Bree at a certain spot, and she was like, "Oh, I've never had a scene here," and they were like, "What? You've never had a scene like on the bench in the backyard?" So for you never to work one-on-one really with Abby's character.
I know. Yeah. It was interesting. And it was, one thing that I noticed in sort of settings and not being in as many like, I only had one scene at Sally's ish this last season. Like, I think because I had the talk with Gran before she does the receptionist thing. I was in Sally's for a scene. I think we got to like episode like 6 or 7. And I was like, Sally's, like, yeah. And I think that lends itself. I think Sally's will be back. It didn't go anywhere. It's always there.
Right.
If we do come back, I'm sure there'll be a scene there, but it was kind of nice to not be in Sally's so much, because we got to explore the world a little bit more,
Yeah.
But I kind of missed it a little bit too. I was like, I miss my Sally, because you always get the nice muffins and stuff.
That's awesome.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Do you have more questions, Kaycee, for question for him?
I have my rapid fire if we're ready to go
let's
there.
do that. Sure.
Yeah, let's do rapid.
All right, rapid fire questions. And these are either going to be about you or your castmates. So the first question is, what is your favorite set location on Chesapeake Shores?
O'Brien House, your background, 100%.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I love that house. Like, it is so amazing. There's a balcony up top that I don't think they've ever played in the show, but I always just go out there and sit, and I'm like, like how much better could it be? Like you can't bring this into a back lot in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like we got the ocean crashing up, and it's just amazing. So I love the O'Brien House.
Yeah.
Wait, tell us about that house though a little bit. Like, is that a home someone lives in and they rent it out to Hallmark, or how do you?
Essentially, they rent it out to production. I think that it's a house that's always rented. It's kind of like an Airbnb situation.
Okay.
But I think you can actually look them up. They're on Instagram. I think it's like I love this place Nanoose or something like that. But they have you can see what the house looks like when the O'Briens aren't there, which was kind of tripping me out. I was like,
oh, okay,
that's different. Wow, that's not that's not a living room, and that's the dining room over there. But yeah, it's a rentable house, which happens to be. I looked it up. It's rented out this summer. happens to be. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. So where do you guys stay as a cast when you go? I mean, not where, but like, is it like a hotel, or are you like
Like,
are
do you guys
like
stay on the
home?
island, or do you go back into Vancouver every?
So I mean, I'll come back. Like, I'll come back if I have to do voice work, and I'll come back on the weekends just to see the fam and stuff like that, and see my girl and my dogs, my cats. But we stay. A few of us stay in one hotel, and then the girls, especially with like half of them all being pregnant last year, they all had they all had their own sort of Airbnbs, and then Treat has this like mansion by the water with like an elevator and like an indoor swimming pool and all this stuff. And so we always we head over to Treats on Sundays and do like big barbecues in the backyard. But Brendan is actually only 2 doors down from me, and so he's like my neighbor. And so
nice.
I love that, because we have a great time on set, and then we get off, and then we play chess until we go to bed, and then we just do it all over again.
That is
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, but yeah.
That was one thing I remember about season 1 that I thought was so fascinating too. So good was your relationship with Kevin. You know,
Yeah.
Connor and Kevin. Really, you saw them as brothers, and a couple of those first episodes were just got me. Big time.
Yeah, totally. And really, you know, that relationship, like many of the relationships in Chesapeake, is very true to life. You know, he is kind of like an older brother to me in real life. You know, he's got great advice. On my birthday, he gave me like, he's been to a few Tony Robbins sort of events. He gave me a Tony Robbins book that I really appreciated, and wrote just like an amazing caption inside. And you know, I love that guy, and he's given me great advice over the years, and he's been there for me when I've needed him, and vice versa. And I couldn't imagine anybody else being Kevin than Brendan Penny, and I'm so grateful that he is that guy in my life.
Well, you know what? We hope, as we watch these as fans, whether it's the Hallmark movies or the series, you know, like Chesapeake Shores, that's what we hope. We think you guys are all friends. You know, we really think that there's, you know, true romantic chemistry, you know, between certain people. And it's disappointing when it's like, oh, they're not really dating in real life.
Yeah. Oh, that's fiction. That's right. We forgot this was not real life.
Well, the family dynamic, we definitely all do love each other. 100%. Yeah. I mean, we got love, you know, and it took some years. I mean, it wasn't right off the bat. But now, I mean, like, we're so gelled. It's amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. All righty. The next not so rapid fire question. Outside of your own character of Connor, which character would you like to play for a day?
I would like to play, if I was to play another character other than Connor, I think I'd like to play. Oh, that's a tough question. I'm not so rapid fire. I can't rapidly.
Not so rapid. Don't make it rapid.
I think I think I'd do Jess. Because Lacey brings, but I wouldn't be able to do it justice. That's the thing. Lacey brings so much of Lacey's amazing character to Jess, but she's just so funny and off the cuff, and like I just love her character watching it. So I think that's the character that I'd love to play.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Because she provides this comic relief for the show a lot of times that we need.
Yeah, she does. And Lacey is she's just a funny, awesome, amazing human. And so, you know, a lot of what you see in Jess is just Lacey being Lacey, you know, and just adapting it to whatever Jess is going through. And that's what makes that character so great.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. All righty. Next is who is most likely to. So this can be like castmates, people you've worked with on the shores.
Yeah.
So who is most likely to play a prank?
Brendan on me, always.
Do you have
or Megan? Megan
okay.
too. Megan will prank. Yeah, usually always just towards me. I don't know if they prank each other but they prank them all the time.
Do you have a particular story?
Well, I mean, every time for, you know, except for last season when we were all taking different cast shuttles and stuff like that, Brendan, without fail, if I was in the front seat, would always hold on to the seatbelt. And every time I'd reach for that seatbelt and hey, Ron's one of our drivers, or Ron, the seatbelts. What? No! no. Every time, and for some reason, I just can't get wise to this prank. It'll always take me at least 2 or 3 pulls on the thing. And of course, Brendan laughs until we get back to the hotel about it. He just loves his own jokes so much.
See, this is why you're fun to prank, probably because you just didn't get wise to even the smallest little thing.
I am quite gullible in that sense. So yeah, that's probably why. Yeah. And then Megan loves to just kind of throw things at me and do weird stuff. So in a fun way.
Right.
Yeah. Anytime, like during like a scene, or you guys are too professional for that, right? Like it's not a joke.
Well, no, I mean, we'll treat sometimes we'll do some ad-libbing as he walks off, which if it's doing a push-in on me and he's doing his funny ad-libs off, it's tough to sort of stay in the moment, but it's all in good fun. And that's his pranking. Treat is hilarious. And last season, actually, they were leaving jokes on his chair. They had this running thing where every day he would have a new sort of dad joke essentially left on his chair. And then he would go and tell every person that dad joke at separate times. They get a laugh from each of them. So that was super fun to watch.
That's fun.
That's super funny.
Yeah.
So do you prank anybody? Or have you pranked anybody?
No, I'm not the best. I'm good at getting pranked, but
okay.
I'm not pranking others. Maybe I'll try if we get a season 6. Right. I'll have something to say about that one next time.
All right. Yeah. That's funny that, your older siblings on set would be the ones to prank you, because I'm an oldest. So I'm always the one pranking like my younger cousins or my brother or, just random people. Yes, that's me. So I totally get that with Brendan and Megan. That's funny.
Oh yeah, you get me.
Yeah. All right. So who is most likely to burst out into random song between takes?
Treat Williams.
Oh, really?
And does. Oh yeah. The guy can sing. You seen Hair? Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, he will break into song. He'll bust out the guitar. I mean, Treat is like, he's a multi-talented individual. So yeah, he has many a time when we're sitting around the fire pit, just busted out into song. Yeah, that would be Treat.
I love it.
Yeah. We should see Mick bust out the guitar like in one of those fire pit scenes. Have we seen? We've not seen that, have we?
I don't think we have. No, I'm not sure if we know much about sort of Mick's musical background, but that would be good. I mean, he's got the skills to do it.
Yeah, and he sang with Abby on the swing outside, so we know he has a lovely voice.
Yeah.
Oh.
I read that.
All right, Mark, Fief, season 6. You heard it here. Pitching.
Oh,
we got some ideas for you. Just small ones.
Right. All right. So who is most likely to break out into a little dance between takes?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'd say the sisters, the girls.
Yeah.
And that was what does the fox say? That was a running joke, because I think there might actually be a video of that somewhere. It's maybe just on one of our phones. I don't know if it hit the internet, but they, like Amelia would put that on and then crank it. And Barbara and the sisters, they're all jumping around. They're in their Uggs. We're in the green room, and me and Brendan are kind of looking at each other, right? They're like, all right, cool, we'll get into it. But what does the fox say was definitely one that brought us all to our feet. So the girls.
Yeah.
And
girls. I love it. The girls. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who is most likely to be found at craft services between takes? Which one of y'all have the munchies?
It's funny because I'm thinking back now like 2 years, because craft services was a whole different deal last year, pretty much.
That's true.
Like brought to you of stuff. But crafty, it's tough to say. I think all of us kind of. Yeah. I don't think anybody especially is like a crafty lover. So I'd say that's even across the board.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. And who is most likely to laugh or cry at an inappropriate time during filming?
Girls, all of them, all 3 of them.
Do they just crack each other up?
Once it starts, it doesn't. And Brendan too. All of them. Everybody. They're all unprofessional. No, just.
Have you ever?
No.
Broken
What did you say?
Have you ever like broken character and couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely have to. I'm guilty of it as well, of course.
Yeah.
But sometimes like Brendan and Lacey especially will like catch eyes with each other. And then it's just, oh no, and it's everybody. Carlo too.
Oh.
And then Amelia will catch the eyes. And then once we start getting the giggles, and it's, oh boy. There was the scene where Treat, he goes missing last season with his plane, and Barbara rushes in with the news saying like, there's been like bad news. And it's like sort of like right before we go to the credits or the like the opening sequence. We all had it was for no reason we had the giggles, and poor Barbara had to run in and be like, you know, like they can't find Mick. And, you know, we're all like, almost cracking a smile, and Barbara's like, are you laughing at me? And we're not at all, right? Like she's coming in and giving a great performance, but we all had these giggles, and like everybody's little looks just add to it, you know. But I usually blame Lacey and Brendan. They usually always start it, and then Megan perpetuates it, and Amelia tacks on, and then Carlo blows it up. But yeah.
I love that. Now if I'm remembering correctly, Connor never met Evan Kincaid. No, at the wedding? Did you interact at the wedding or?
I don't think I did interact with him at the wedding. No.
I don't think you've met him.
Interesting. Wow. Because I mean, I've known Robert Buckley for quite a while, but yeah, I don't think that Evan and Connor, no, they didn't. That's interesting.
I don't think they did. How do you think Connor's going to react to this Evan guy?
He does comment. What is he? Oh no, that's about Luke, right? I think that he's going to. Oh, that's a great question. You know, I'll leave that up to the writers to sort of decide. I don't want to, but if I had to speculate, you know, it's whatever makes Abby happy. You know, that's what Connor wants, and I think that, you know, the Abby and Trace relationship, you know, it had a lot of baggage. Right. And I think that Connor witnessed his sister started dealing with that baggage. Even though Travi was great, I think that there's new life with Evan. And I think that the layers of the onion of Evan are starting to get peeled back. So, So, I mean, I haven't had any scenes with him, but I think that Connor would be happy for Abby and Evan if they're making each other happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think that that's a good assessment. It's something I really want to see. I want to see him, interact with Evan in a different way than he's interacted with Trace even. But so because we hear he's a funny guy, right? Robert Buckley's a funny guy. So I would guess
hysterical. He's the fastest, wittiest guy I have ever met. Like
really
hysterical. He is he just knows the right thing to say, like a split second.
Right time.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. Great admiration for his comedy and him as it's just a really kind guy too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great addition to the whole series, to the whole show.
Brought a whole different energy. Yeah,
absolutely.
How'd we do on that rapid fire, Kaycee?
No, we're good. Yeah, that was my last question. So
rapid.
Probably the longest rapid fire round ever. It was like the whole interview.
You can count on us.
No, we love it.
Talk too.
Yeah. No, we love it. We love getting the tidbits. We love getting the insight on, you know, what you've been up to and how you've been feeling about Chesapeake Shores and the behind the scenes of the stories of your castmates and stuff. So, you know, it's okay that it wasn't rapid fire. We're eating it all up.
Right? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Andrew, honestly, you are so wonderful, and you bring Connor to life in such a fantastic way that we've all just like our hearts just are rooting for him. We want a season 6 because we want to know really what's up with Connor. What happened to Connor? Where is this going to go?
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for watching and commentating and, you know, letting people know and sort of spreading the awareness of Chesapeake Shores. We all appreciate you, and we see what you're doing, the work that you do, and we want to say thank you on behalf of myself and all of us cast and crew.
Well, it is our pleasure, and it was totally our honor to have you here on Chesapeake Chats. Hopefully we can have you on again, celebrating a season 6. Fingers crossed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight and just being a great person. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And bye, Jessies. Hopefully see you soon.
Oh, hey, real quick, one thing I forgot to ask. Where can people find you on social media if they haven't found you just yet?
Sure. Yeah. My, what is it? I'm Drew Francis 604 on Twitter, and my Instagram is I believe Real Andrew Francis.
I think so.
Yeah.
Real Andrew Francis.
Real Andrew Francis on Instagram. That's the place
Yes.
where I'm the most for the live tweeting. Drew Francis. 604.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, thank you so much again. We will be talking to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds
you.
good.
Well, that was so much fun to have Connor O'Brien himself on Chesapeake Chats. I can hardly believe it. That was so much fun, that conversation.
Yes. Oh, so much fun. He's such a delight. Andrew is so fantastic. I mean, I kind of wish that we had more to talk about with future seasons,
Future seasons. Well, he's in Hallmark movies, and he but like he referenced, he'd love to be a leading man. And so Hallmark, if you are watching this, I'd love to see him as the leading man.
Yeah,
I think he can handle
absolutely.
it. I want to give him his own Christmas movie, give him a fall harvest movie. Let's bring him on.
Yes, Fall Fest. I vote Fall Fest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that make-believe thing I just made up. Well, if this special bonus episode of Chesapeake Chats has made you want to go back and relive Chesapeake Shores, you can find all those seasons on Hallmark Now, so look those up. You can also listen to our recaps on the Hallmarkies podcast. We've recapped all the shows. Of course, my favorite is season 5. So you can go back and listen to all of that fun stuff on season 5 that we've recorded. And now with this interview with Andrew Francis, and then our interviews with Fief Sutton and Mark Jordan Legan, those are all on the Hallmarkies podcast online. I mean, on YouTube, on iTunes, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find those. So follow and subscribe the Hallmarkies podcast so you don't miss any more Chesapeake Shores news or recaps or anything like that. And definitely follow us as well. Kaycee, where can people find you?
You can find me at Kaycee__Simpson on Instagram and on Twitter.
Oh, great. Well, come over to Instagram and find me at Hallmark Comics. That's Hallmark_Comics. I'd love to interact with you there. But for now, Chessies, we are signing off, and we hope to have some great news to celebrate with you soon for season 6. Please, please, please. All right. We'll see you later, Chessies. Bye.
Bye.